All right, welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo Podcast. I am Joey Calvo. We are in this great holiday season, but this holiday season has not been the greatest for me so far. So I'm barely working on this podcast. We'll say it that way. It's kind of on it's on life support right now. So on the screen, I have ways that you can help the podcast. Our guest has been of great help as well. And we'll explain that later on. And so our guest today is Larry Berger. He is, pardon me a second, an award-winning poet and promotions expert with over 30 years of experience in the industry and a 6-point plan to help clients set goals for their future and make their dreams come true. So, Larry, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Joey. It's great to be here.
All right. So, explain, who is Larry Berger? How did we get to where we're at?
Well, Larry Berger was working for an oil and gas company, and he was up for a sales position as a manager against the protege of the office, and it was really a fake contest. The protege had the job locked up, but I took it as real, and I got very, very depressed when I left that job.
Mm.
I spent a year on the psych ward wanting to kill myself.
Wow.
I got out of it by seeing a piece of an episode of the Rush Limbaugh show, of all things, where he mentioned, it was back during the Clinton era, and he mentioned that nobody in America could save even $2,000 anymore to get an IRA going.
No.
I got upset. I started rattling off ways people could save money. And my nurse said, Larry, for a year you've been wanting to kill yourself in the press. Now you got a reason to live. We're going to get you a pen and a piece of paper, and you're going to write it out.
Yeah.
2 months later, I had my first book, and I was on my way back to LA to get an agent. Thank you. I traded marketing services for help with the book, sold 1,100 copies, and I'm in the third version of it now.
Okay, that's great. All right, so questions were sent to him before this podcast began. Unfortunately, I can't, like I said, being that this is on life support, I couldn't even put our podcast's number one fan, number one supporter, and real life superheroine, American Fox, because she sent us questions today. And so the first question that she had for Larry is, what's your favorite poem?
Well, I've written quite a few, and I know a number of people from Lorca to Father, I'm Dear the Once Prophets. So I don't really have a quote-unquote favorite poem. It's kind of like, how do you decide which of your children you love best?
Yeah. It's a lot. Like, not many people ask me, like, what's my favorite podcast I've done. But I will say, this, and I'm saying this because American Fox does watch these videos, believe it or not. So like I said, not only is she the number one fan, number one supporter, she's a real life superheroine. She's my critique. Okay, she's my critic, and so like most of the podcasts where her picture shows up really attracts, viewers. Now, if only those viewers that are attracted to American Fox went to the Patreon page that I put up earlier, that's in the description, there are a lot of pictures of American Fox that are up there that you can purchase, and that you can purchase the post to it, and you have your own picture of American Fox for yourself. So that's one big thing I will say about that, So, but she, she'll ask me opinions about superheroines as well, and like there's sometimes I'm like, I'm not a big fan of them, but things work themselves out in reference to it. So her next question for you is, have any clients stood out as favorite, and why?
Well, yes, I had one client I worked as a laugher for like 30 years. He was a comic I met when I first went to my first poetry reading. My agent sent me to the Midnight Special bookstore to go to a poetry reading to work on my speaking engagement, and I fell in love. I've been a poet ever since. And he started telling me jokes. I started laughing, and the jokes he told that night were based on the ones I laughed at. So we set up a thing where we did that for like 30 years. I worked for him as a professional laugher.
Wow.
And it worked out. I got some other clients through him who are other comics. And now I work with all kinds of people. I've worked with business owners. I've worked with bookstore owners. I've worked with publishers and promotions. Most of my clients are writers who want to get their own book out.
Right. All right. So, did you hear about the Polish fish?
They hear about the Polish fish? No.
Yeah. It drowned.
Okay.
Well, that didn't work. I tried, American Fox. Because the next question she had is, could we hear you laugh? So that's what I was trying to do. There we go. There we go. We got it. We got it. We got it. And then actually, that was one thing, believe it or not, that joke I just said, I actually got that 40 years ago.
Wow.
Well, I was in Boy Scouts. I made attempts to, entertain the troop, when we went camping and stuff. So I did my own little quote unquote show. Not realizing that 40 years later, I have a show, but it's bigger than showing it to like 5 or 6, 13 to 11 to 18-year-old and adults, but now we're out there. We've done 250 episodes since 2019. We've had Carol Alta on here. We had Gregory Jabara from Blue Bloods. We had a local Philly legend, disc jockey by the name of Miss Patty Jackson. We had a former Channel 3 meteorologist, Katie Fellinger, who's gotten to bigger and better things since she left that. And so, and now we're working on expanding this podcast to getting this on radio and TV here, at least here in Philadelphia to start, and then maybe out in Seattle and Boston and Chicago and New Orleans and Dallas and all these other places eventually down the line. So the last question that American Fox had for you was, are you comfortable telling jokes? And if you do, tell one.
Well, again, I'm more of a laugher than a joke teller.
Okay.
I'm not the comic. I was working for the comic.
Yeah. That's a good thing. That is a good thing, for doing that for 30 years. I was a big fan of watching Johnny Carson at night. Growing up, those nights that I couldn't sleep before going to school the next day, I was watching Johnny Carson, and then wind up watching David Letterman eventually down the way. But I actually got an opportunity a long, long time ago, and I'm dating this back, 30 years, at least 30 years. This was when Howard Stern was the biggest thing, still is the biggest thing to a point before he went on satellite radio. He used to have Jackie the Joke Man Martling as part of his ensemble. So he was performing at a comedy club, and I got a chance to see him. And he does a thing at the end called Stump the Martling, or Stump the Joke Man. That's what it was called. So I attempted to try to stump him, and he turns around and gets back at me. He says, "Where are you? I can't see you," because I'm short, and I'm like way in the back. So it's almost like I had to stand on a chair for him to see me.
Wow.
Yeah, but about 2 years ago, I actually got to see, and if you ever get a chance, he's a great comedian. Matter of fact, he married one of my classmates who became a comedian herself. So yes, Jeff Norris, you're getting a free plug off of this. But yeah, he was performing at the Borgata, and I managed to get tickets to see him, and I could not stop laughing. I mean, he is so good. I was actually surprised that my classmate, Renee DiLorenzo, who, like I said, who is also a comedian as well, was not there. I wish she was there because I would have been happy to see her after like 35 years now, because we graduated high school together and all that. So definitely. But everybody, you can check out American Fox on X, formerly Twitter, at American Fox 4, or you can follow her on Instagram at American Fox 12018. And believe me, when I sent Larry the picture, I mean, she's truly amazing. I'm just very blessed that she's part of this podcast, and kind of saves me when I need the help. So what's next for Larry? You mentioned about the third book.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next after that?
Well, now it's a matter of promoting the books and getting a few more clients. I was in the hospital in a diabetic coma over the 4th of July, so I'm getting my health back.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's another big thing, diabetes. I mean, I was diagnosed just before Thanksgiving of 23. Matter of fact, my doctor calls me. I'm just getting ready to start work, and I was working at Amazon at the time, and she calls me up. She's, "You're diabetic."
Wow.
I'm like, "Oh, great. Just what I need just before Thanksgiving to be told that, So, but, we managed that, but I was in the hospital as well. I actually dehydrated my kidneys.
Wow.
Because I wasn't drinking enough water and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I now do my best to attempt to drink a lot of water, but sometimes it's still hard. So if people want to reach out to you, okay, how can they reach out to you and maybe, become a client of yours?
Great. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Okay.
Just look for my picture. You'll find me fairly easily. And I've got email and phone number I can share.
Okay.
Okay, my email is lberg.
Hold on. Okay, good. Give me one moment here. Okay, go ahead.
My email is lberger1027@gmail.com.
Okay.
And my phone number is 585-233.
Hold on.
Sorry, Joey.
That's all right. Well, we'll do it this way. I'll just leave it as the email.
Okay.
And then if they email you, they could, you can give it to them that way, and then you can reach out from there. All right.
Sounds
So
great.
if anybody's interested in being one of Larry's clients, and you want to get your works out there, definitely. Give me a moment. Just bear with me. There we go. So you can reach out to Larry via LinkedIn, or you can email him on. That's supposed to be Berger. Sorry about that. If you comment on the page, I'll send you the correct. I'll reply with the correct email for you in reference to that. So, Larry, I thank you so much for your time, and you're welcome to come back on anytime in reference to if you have any new projects coming up.
Great.
Just reach out to me and we'll squeeze you in. And for everybody else, please, if you can, like I said, please help support this podcast. Larry was gracious enough to help out as well. And because this podcast is just barely hanging on in a way. I miss the way I usually do it, and it's usually better than the way this is right now. But definitely, if you can support in any way, it's much appreciated, because I want to continue this podcast. Because I've realized I can't do this alone. And the last guest that I had on, Jaleesa Hardy, if you go to the previous video in the live section of the Life with Joey Calvo YouTube channel, go on there. If you go to jaleesahardy.com, okay, if you book a service with her and you mention this podcast, I will say you will make a wonderful difference, because she offered to help out this podcast as well. So, but definitely reach out to Larry if you're interested in getting your works out there, or any type of work. Larry would be happy to help you and get you promoted as hell. And who knows, he may even throw you on this podcast, to promote you. So, Larry, again, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. God bless you all.